What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are at Oklahoma City Will Rogers World Airport for the 5th airport update for the month of March 2022. There's a ton of madness in this airport update. I'll show you here towards the end of the video, but we're going to go ahead and do a bit of a regular airport update here before we get into the intense stuff. So, starting off here at gate number 9 this time. I don't think I've used this gate yet in the Oklahoma City Will Rogers World Airport updates yet. But here we are at gate number 9 regardless, with this United Express CRJ-200 in the Evo blue colors. This aircraft arrived on a flight from Denver, flight 5307, at 4:48 p.m., a little bit behind a 4:31 p.m. scheduled arrival, arrived 17 minutes behind schedule. Jumping over to gate number 4, we have this American Airbus A319 on a flight from Charlotte, flight 1626, at 10:53 a.m. ahead of a scheduled 11:16 a.m. arrival. So nice to see the main line here on the Charlotte service this time by. So that's really cool. We'll move on to the next aircraft. At gate number 6, we have this American Eagle Embraer 175. Always nice to have this in an airport update. This aircraft arrived on a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, flight 3771, at 5:45 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 5:59 p.m. arrival. And I think this might have been Envoy's first 175 as well that I'm representing in this flight. November 200, November. I think that might have been their first Embraer 175. The one that Gemini did here in this case, I think, is 233 November. If I can see that correctly, but I think it is 233 November that Gemini ended up doing in this release. So we'll move on to the next aircraft. At gate number 8, we have this Mesa CRJ-900. I'm happy to finally use this again in an airport update. Always nice to have whenever I need it if I have a Mesa CRJ-900 on the flight schedule. So all the flights are from Monday, March 14th. Why so early in the month? You'll find out towards the end of the video. So here at gate number 8, we have the CRJ-900 of American Eagle with the Mesa House livery. This aircraft arrived in also on a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth International. This one, flight 5734. Mesa's flight numbers are usually in that 5,000 range, kind of like 56 to 5,900, I think. They could be a little bit lower as well, but that's kind of the flight numbers that I frequently see on some flight schedules. So this aircraft arrived in from Dallas-Fort Worth, flight 5734 at 8:42 a.m., a bit delayed from an 8:06 a.m. scheduled arrival. That's a 36-minute delay, if my math is correct. Jumping down to gate number 12, we have this Frontier Airbus A320neo. Nice to have Frontier here at Oklahoma City. This aircraft arrived on a flight from Las Vegas, flight 1990, at 8:51 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 9:05 p.m. arrival. One of the few aircraft that I couldn't get the exact scheduled or the exact actual arrival into my little table that I got going here on my iPad, because that's kind of what I read off here on these updates, which is what I've started doing like a few months ago at this point. It's been a little bit now since I started doing this, but keeps it a bit more organized and it's easier for me to read as I go through the update. So just kind of look at that here, just off screen. I try to make it so it doesn't appear in the camera, so it doesn't really get in the way of anything. So yeah, but arriving in at 8:51 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 9:05 p.m. arrival ahead of 14 minutes. So good head start for the guys trying to get in from Vegas. This wing looks stupid flexed, but that's just how it is, because that's what happens when I try to glue it back on. This I got back in 2018, so apologies for that. I may have to get a second one just to replace that. I would try to get it, like, rip the wing out, but that would damage the paint and everything. I'm not willing to do that, so it's just going to have to stay as is. So maybe I'll pick up another Max 8 in the future. I know Gemini recently did one from September, but this will have to do for now. So pulling into gate 14, we have the Southwest 737 MAX 8, arriving on a flight from Houston Hobby, flight 1329 at 10:26 a.m., a little bit behind a 10:05 a.m. scheduled arrival, 21-minute delay for this aircraft. Got some nice Southwest action here over at the central part of the terminal here at Oklahoma City. So sitting here at gate 16, which is the aircraft that's currently in focus there towards the top left of your screen, is the Southwest 737-700 in the Heart livery with blended winglets. This is the Panda Models Waffle Collectibles exclusive. This aircraft arrived on a flight from Chicago Midway, flight 2371, at 10:18 a.m. ahead of a scheduled 10:35 a.m. arrival. Moving the focus down towards the bottom of the screen at gate 18, we have the Southwest 737-800 in the Canyon Blue livery with split scimitars. These things are a little bit rare now, I guess, since Southwest is really working hard to get all of their aircraft painted into the Heart livery. So the Canyon Blue numbers are starting to dwindle, but they have like 600-700 aircraft in their fleet, so it's going to take them a little while to get through all those aircraft. And of course, they'll have to retire some older ones that may have not gotten the Heart livery treatment just yet. So But here at Gate 18 is a Southwest 738 Canyon Blue with splits, wonderful model by NG Models. This aircraft arrived in on a flight from Houston Hobby, so our second Houston Hobby flight of the update and our last one. Flight 2341 at 5:45 p.m. right on time. So after a big mixture of various delayed flights, we have a perfect on-time flight. Probably my only like 5th or 6th perfect on-time flight in my airport update. So that's really good to see here in this update, amidst all the chaos that we're going to see towards the end of this update. So just be prepared. Delta Concourse is packed here at the Oklahoma City Will Rogers World Airport. Again, satellite imagery has still not updated with the this new addition here. Has, I think, like 4 new gates at this point, 26, 28, 30, and 32. So hopefully satellite imagery does get updated so I have a better idea of what it looks like. But I think as of right now, this is probably the most accurate representation of it. Of course, there could still be some things that are off in terms of like the size of it and the scaling and everything in between. So there's that you have to factor in. Of course, I'm also kind of running out of table space. As you can see there towards the top right of your screen, the table just kind of cuts off right there. So of course I have to work with that. So I have to compensate in some places. But again, camera work's going to be a little bit bad. Apologies about the placement of the jet bridge. I'm going to fix that. Now it looks a little bit too high, but man, it's fine. We can work with it. At Gate 26, we had this Delta Airbus A320 arriving on a flight from Atlanta, flight 2080 at 3:41 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 4:07 p.m. arrival. At Gate 28, we had this Delta Boeing 717-200. This aircraft also arrived in from Atlanta, this one on flight 2408. This is the late night flight. This is supposed to arrive at into the early morning hours of Monday, March 14th, but this actually arrived at 11:58 p.m. late Sunday night. So another one of those situations where flights are arriving on different days. But again, since this is on the initially scheduled flight board for Monday, March 14th, I figured I'd still incorporate this aircraft into the update. So a little bit of an interesting situation here. Arrived 31 minutes ahead of schedule, so pretty good head start for the folks coming in from Atlanta that perhaps probably want to get to the hotel or get back home so that they can go to bed and rest for another week on Monday. So again, this is in the past, so I'm not sure that's what actually happened. Maybe it did, but I have no idea. I just come up with the stuff in my head just to try and make it a little bit more fun. One more aircraft at the terminal, and then we get into the real meat of this update. Finally, at gate number 30, we had this Delta Connection CRJ 900 arriving on a flight from Minneapolis, flight 3791 at 6 p.m. A little bit delayed from a 5:35 p.m. scheduled arrival. That is a 25-minute delay if my math is correct. So I did see this exact flight while I was in Minneapolis. If I can find like a video of it, I'll put it up on your screen now, just as it was taxiing by Cargo Road as I was doing some spotting there. Again, really nice to have. So again, nice to have some flights that I have seen in real life. In this case, flight 3791 from Minneapolis. All right, so we're going to have quite a bit going on here towards the tail end of this update. So if it's a little bit fast-paced, I do apologize for that. You're more than free to pause the video to get caught up on anything that you might have missed. I'll try to make this flow relatively smoothly so that there's no errors or anything along the lines of that. So let's go ahead and get into the real meat of this update. Absolute chaos has now unfolded at the Oklahoma City Will Rogers World Airport as multiple diversions have come in from the Dallas area. On Monday, March 14th, a round of severe weather impacted the Dallas area, which did impact arrivals into the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and Dallas Love Field as well. I'll pop up on your screen the flight radar playback that I was able to screen record on my iPad of all the flights that were landing into Oklahoma City. So I've sped up the footage a little bit just to compensate for time so that it doesn't drag out for too long. But you can just kind of get a good idea of all the chaos that was happening, of all the flights inbound that were intended for either Dallas-Fort Worth International or Dallas Love Field. All those flights heading into Oklahoma City. There were also multiple flights that diverted to other airports like Tulsa, got a handful, Austin got plenty, San Antonio got a few as well, and then there were some other smaller airports that received some other stuff as well. So I tried my best to represent all the diversions. However, there was one that I could not feature, flight 3234 from Aspen. That's on a CRJ 700. So that's the only diversion that will not be featured. Otherwise, everything else is in here. As you can tell, I am not a person that collects duplicates of models, so there are obviously some liveries that look a little out of place, so that I could accurately represent all these diversions as best I could. So, and obviously some aircraft have had to remove from the terminal back over there. That's why there's some empty spots of where aircraft were previously occupying, just for the sake of this segment. So I think we're going to go ahead and start off with the front of the line here. First up in line, we have this American Eagle CRJ 700. This was supposed to go to Dallas-Fort Worth, but ended up diverting here. Its origin airport was Columbus, Charlie Sierra Gulf Airport. Not entirely sure where that is off the top of my head. So that's the first aircraft that we have in line. Next up in line is this Delta Airbus A220-100. This flight originated from New York LaGuardia as Flight 432, and this was intended for Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Behind him is this American Airbus A319 with sharklets being substituted for my American Airbus A319 with the Allegheny retro livery. This aircraft originated from Jackson Hole as Flight 2596 and was intended for the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Behind him is our first Dallas Love diversion. Here's a Southwest 737-800 in the Heart livery with split scimitars. This aircraft originated from Chicago Midway as Flight 1287. Next in line is a Southwest 737-700 in the Heart livery being substituted for my Southwest 737-700 in the Lone Star 1 livery. This aircraft originated from Phoenix Sky Harbor's Flight 2227 and was intended for Dallas Love Field. Behind him is a Southwest 737-700 in the Heart livery, being substituted for another Southwest 737-700, this time in the Florida 1 livery. This aircraft originated from Orlando International Flight 426 and was intended for Dallas Love Field. Bit of a convergence of aircraft here as we've got two more Southwest. We'll take a look here at this American Airbus A319. This aircraft originated from St. Louis as Flight 2896 and was intended for Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. First in line here on this taxiway, going to be waiting for a large convoy of aircraft to get out of the way. Right here we have the Southwest 737-700 in the Heart livery with blended winglets. This is a correct aircraft. This aircraft originated from Las Vegas as Flight 8701, intended for Dallas Love Field. Not entirely sure about the high flight number, so it could be either repositioning flight or maybe it is just a regularly scheduled passenger flight, but my guess is this probably has to be a charter or a repo flight. Lastly, for all the Southwest diversions we have here in this airport update, we have the Southwest 737-700 in the Heart livery being substituted for my Southwest 737-700 with a Maryland 1 livery. This aircraft originated from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport as Flight 970 and was intended for Dallas Love Field. Now we'll turn our attention to the remainder of the diversions that are currently parked up here, just waiting for the storms to clear and waiting to get approval to fly back to their intended destinations. All these aircraft you see here intended for DFW Airport. First up in line at the parked aircraft, we have this American 737-800 being substituted for my Reno Air Heritage aircraft. This aircraft originated from San Antonio's Flight 1961 and was intended for DFW Airport. Next up in line, we have this American 737-800 in the One World livery. This is being substituted for another regular American 737-800, none of which I have. This aircraft originated from Tampa International as Flight 1399. Next up, we have this American Eagle CRJ 900, a diversion here from Peoria, Illinois. This is Flight 5772, another Mesa-operated flight. Next up, we have this American Airbus A321 being substituted for my U.S. Airways Airbus A321. Originating from SeaTac International Airport as Flight 2767, this was intended for DFW. Next up, we have this American Airbus A321 in the correct livery. This aircraft originated from Tucson, Arizona as Flight 2926. Here we have this American 737-800 in the TWA Heritage livery being substituted for a normal livery one, or substituting a normal livery American 737-800 rather. This aircraft originated from Baltimore as Flight 2314. And finally, we have a behemoth of an aircraft here at Oklahoma City, this American 777-300ER being substituted for my Alitalia 777-300ER that I have. This originated from London Heathrow, Flight 51. This is the biggest diversion out of the pretty much everything else that diverted here to Oklahoma City, obviously, as you can tell. I'm just going to count up here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 diversions here to Oklahoma City. So obviously they have way more capacity for more diversions than something like Sioux Falls does here if we are to receive any diversions from Minneapolis. The most we've gotten is, I think, 6 as far as I recall. So way less here than what Oklahoma City got from Dallas-Fort Worth and Dallas Love Field. So to be fair, about 5 of these diversions here, yeah, all the Southwest ones, 5 in total, did originate from Dallas Love Field. So 11 from Dallas-Fort Worth and then 5 from Dallas Love Field. So the graphics here were kind of interesting, so I know it might have flown by a little bit fast, so I do apologize if that was the case. For those that weren't able to keep up, I'm sorry for that. But otherwise, I did try out some new graphics here. Hopefully they are looking pretty nice. Took me a little bit while to put it together and everything, so again, if this update is delayed for any reason, which it shouldn't be, but if it is, then I guess that's gonna happen. Then I'll just say that it's the graphics that caused it, but I'll try to get this out on time as planned. Friday I'm trying to think here. So today is Wednesday, March 16th as I record this. I'm recording this well in advance, so I got myself plenty of time to get this completed, which I should be able to do within a reasonable time frame. So next Friday from when this comes out, so that'll be the 25th of March, we'll be wrapping up all of the Minneapolis content, so just kind of want to talk about the Minneapolis content. By the time this comes out, tomorrow should be the last video from my Minneapolis trip. And with that, we'll return to kind of our regular flow of content, obviously with the random unboxing videos that'll come in every now and then. Should have one sometime in mid-April, because I do have a couple of models on order. Obviously the Gemini March stuff, the Breeze Embraer 190, and American Eagle Embraer 170 retro livery, and Southwest Missouri one-wood splits. So I'm super excited for the Breeze. I will be really excited to feature that in next month's Oklahoma City update, pending it does arrive on time. So according to the scheduled ETA from the retailer that I pre-ordered from, which was Panafox Toys, should be able to get it in, possibly even for the Random Model Airport update if I don't film that too early. So if that's the case, I'll hold off filming Random Model Airports for a little bit so I can get the Breeze aircraft in, and have it featured maybe in a Random Model Airport update. So otherwise, look forward to seeing this, seeing the Breeze Embraer 190 in the Oklahoma City update for April of 2022. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.